I'm Jeff Cornwall, and this is the Entrepreneurial Mind. Today our guest is Tant with Relode. We'll be back to talk with him after this.
Talkopolis programming is sponsored in part by the Center for Advanced Dentistry, now serving the greater Nashville area.
Welcome, Matt.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So talk a little bit about what Relode does. I mean, you guys are in job placement kind of a site, and what do you do and what makes you different from some of the other programs that are out there?
So Relode is an online platform, one of the first of its kind that we've been able to find anywhere in the world. And to back up here and validate my experience in this field, how I understand the product is I started my career as a recruiter right out of school here at Vanderbilt in Nashville, Tennessee, and made lots of placements, wearing the headset.
Right.
And my first experience...
so you were working for a headhunter?
I was working for a staffing firm out of Jacksonville, Florida. There's just a general administrative staffing firm and a Fortune 100 firm called in a retained search.
That's tough work. That's big volume.
High volume, low margin business.
Yeah.
And a very large retained search fee came in for a $144,000 fee. That was my second week on the job, and I filled that position. And the agency made $120-something thousand. I ended up with a commission of about $12,000, and then the person who referred the candidate got $1,000. And I was shocked that that's how this industry worked. As a college student into the staffing industry,
that's a big check for a college kid.
4 times my salary.
Right.
And at the time, and so learning from that, I've always thought, wow, there's got to be a platform online to connect corporations when they need to hire a permanent candidate. And there's no need to have all this corporate, agency overhead. Why can't we connect them directly with the recruiter who did all the work to bring the valuable candidate to the place? So Advance, here today, and Relode exists to be an on-demand online marketplace where companies can go and get paired with industry experts for their business and engage a recruiter on demand to find a price per candidate model.
So and not being in the space myself, pardon me if these are basic kind of questions, what makes you different than those online job posting kinds of sites? We hear a lot of people talk about using the sites that
Career Builder, Monster.
Career Builder, yeah, and even LinkedIn now has kind of gotten to be that. What makes you different? Are you more targeted or?
The thing about recruiting is that even if you automate or have a job posting, and the sites you're referring to are really candidate aggregators, so it's just large databases of candidates, but there's still, even if you automate, which there's a lot of automated tools that scrape data that are very specific to your open job positions, someone has to pick up the phone and contact the candidate.
So the good news is you get 100 resumes. The bad news is you get 100 resumes.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And if you're a small business, which I'm an investor in several small businesses, they don't have the budget or the full-time employee staff to perform the recruitment function. So for a small business owner to put a job posting for $1,000 on Career Builder and weed through 400 resumes that are some are very targeted, some are way over left field, that maybe an oil change technician and they're looking for an accounting clerk.
Right.
And then by the time they get through their main priorities, these candidates are gone. So this is a way to engage with the recruiter right online, on demand as needed. You see their profile, you see their price per candidate, the industries they serve, the tools they use, the experiences other people have had with them in the platform. You engage with them on a price per candidate basis. We at Relode guarantee you'll be happy with the performance of the agent, or we'll recreate the task for you internally. So that's the difference in our platform, is those platforms are post and pray that the right person will respond.
Right.
This is a manual effort to go target, hunt, and bring you the right person through an online marketplace.
And it's an inefficient marketplace between these headhunters, these recruiters, and the employers, and you're building an efficiency bridge. Is that kind of how you describe it?
Correct. So we've coined it similar to Uber meets the taxi industry. Anyone can become an Uber driver or a taxi driver with the proper platform and training.
Right.
So not only are we taking professional recruiters who are stay-at-home moms or live around the world in different countries that can perform these tasks online at a much more affordable price, because there's no corporate overhead for the agency to support the office building, the administrative costs, and the burden.
So are you starting to maybe disrupt some of the traditional recruiting agencies then with this, or is this is this niche-y kind of thing where you're maybe getting a market they're not going to go after?
Everywhere we've gone with the tool, it's very disruptive to the permanent placement business, because why pay a 20% fee or a $25,000 fee, in most cases, for a position when you can pay $2,000 or $3,000, get the right candidate, the same source of candidates that those guys are going after without all the overhead of the agency. So it's very disruptive to the permanent placement business. I'm still an investor in a large staffing business it's a contract staffing business, and it's not disruptive to that business because you still need the entity to provide the contracting. So this is really targeting that perm placement marketplace when companies need to engage someone to find specific candidates.
So are you finding even then professionals within an industry have a good network of connections? I mean, is this something where literally they could, on the side, find candidates for jobs? I'm thinking, I get a lot of solicitation for people looking for candidates for faculty positions and dean positions by these big search firms. And I'm thinking, why don't the universities just call me? I mean, there's a list of people who they should know who are well connected. I mean, really, that's kind of, I don't know if it would work exactly in that space. But I
think that's where we're headed. I think initially we're using professional recruiters who are trained and know how to go find anything in their industry.
Right.
But at some point, just in the case that I shared with you at the very beginning of my experience, it was a Vanderbilt alumni who connected me with the right candidate, who was not a recruiter, he was a finance expert in Atlanta, Georgia. He became a recruiter accidentally without knowing it. He knew a great candidate. Somebody had paid $144,000 fee to be connected with this candidate. He's not aware that this industry exists. He refers the candidate to me. So yes, the ultimate goal is to make everybody a recruiter. Anybody who has contacts in their phone and database can turn into a recruiter.
Yeah, I mean, that to me, as I start thinking about your model, is the really disruptive nature of it. Is it really facilitates what for me was always the best sorts of recruitment as a business owner was my network. It was people I knew in the industry. Maybe not good friends, but people I knew who were really connected, who I could call and say, do you know anybody? And what this sounds like it does is leverages that and lets that person maybe do that for several different people.
And monetize.
Right, and monetize it.
Help their qualified friends and monetize it in an online marketplace.
Fascinating. So are you starting to envision sort of other iterations and expansions of what you do, or do you think you've got a pretty well-focused business model at this point that you'll be able to ride for a while?
The Relode marketplace is our initial product that we launched, and that's where people can connect and engage with an on-demand recruiter for search for candidates.
Right.
The ultimate goal is to have two products. We have our marketplace where companies come engage with on-demand recruiters, and then we have what we're calling a recruiter workspace, and it's very similar to an efficiency tool such as Evernote or others that are designed for corporate agencies. So there's a lot of tools out there that we have to use as recruiters at corporate companies, but there's nothing that allows us to easily share and access that data. So we're in the process of building it now, so I don't want to reveal too much about what it is, but we have two core products that are built on the same platform. One's a marketplace and one's a workspace for efficiency tool, which is more of a monthly recurring seat fee.
Right.
And we're betting that we're going to make you more efficient with that, so people want to sign up for that.
And what I often see with people like you is, you may do a dozen experiments like this with things you think might work in this pretty focused, narrow space, and even if a half a dozen or so hit, you can build a pretty nice venture.
This one is very focused on disrupting the archaic recruiting industry.
Right.
For example, some of the other tools we're looking at integrating are auto dialing techniques that already exist in many other industries, such as collections, customer service, and health coaching. Today, Recruiters still use a dial phone, wait on voicemails, added up is sometimes equivalent to an average of 2 to 3 hours a day of wasted waiting time.
Are you even thinking about some of the advancements that are happening with artificial intelligence that builds kind of this back-end smart system? I mean, I could see that as being something that would be fun to play with in the recruiting space too.
Absolutely, and I think there's people that have already done a great job at that, so we'll probably partner with those types of firms and lay the technology underneath ours, because we want to really attack that manual process and make it more efficient, make it more effective at connecting
it's
directly
the low-hanging
with the
fruit,
candidates.
isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So, God, who would have known that first job coming out of college would turn into something like this?
Yeah, my first thought was to get into commercial real estate, and that didn't work out in 2005 when the commercial
Thank
real
goodness
estate
for that.
business.
Huh?
Thank God that the commercial real estate tanked.
Yeah. Well, it's a wonderful story. Thanks for coming by and sharing it today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.